My name is Vidyadhaka and I have been here for 16 years working, and I first came along here in 1998 and I'm the centre manager. Mainly we teach two basic meditation practices that the Buddha taught, the mindfulness of breathing and the metta bhavana. So they're relatively simple to learn, so we teach those to anyone who wants to come along and learn them. But I suppose our unique contribution to the West, as it were, communicating Buddhism to a Western culture, I would say there's two unique things. So we've got a strong emphasis on Sangha, which is, Sangha means, it's the community of disciples who are practicing together, and so we could translate that as friendship. So we put a lot of emphasis on friendship. So you don't just come to a Buddhist centre to get teachings of the Buddha. You come and you join a culture in which friendship flourishes. Yeah, well, Buddhism comes from the Buddha, who happened to be born in what we call the East now, but Buddhism isn't necessarily from the East. Buddhism is a universal religion, and it can be practiced by anyone at any time. But as it grows in particular different contexts, then you have different cultural manifestations. So you've got very specific cultural forms, say in Sri Lanka or Thailand. You've got different cultural forms in India, in Nepal, in what was Tibet, North India. And you have different cultural forms in what we now call the West. But it's just another manifestation of the teachings of the Buddha coming into contact with a particular culture. So I wouldn't say that Buddhism is an Eastern religion. It's a universal religion that has originated where the Buddha happened to be at the time, which was India. So here you get the Dharma presented not by monks, for example. I'm not a monk, I am an order member. So I'm the equivalent of a monk, but this isn't a monastic temple, as you can see. Whereas if you went to a Tibetan centre, it would be more monastic. So you'd have nuns and monks. I'm not a monk, and I'm not a lay person either. I'm an order member. And so in a way, that's what people get when they come here, which is a different cultural form to other places. But you still get Buddhism, hopefully, in whatever place you go, where there were people who have dedicated their lives to practice, then you still get Buddhism, you still get the Dharma. But yeah, in a different cultural form. Yeah, so hopefully when people come to this centre, they see it as something that they can do. So they might see people like me, and I'm not a monk. That might be more attractive. They might feel they can practice in that way. So I hope that what people get when they come here is a feeling that it's possible to practice in modern life.
Each living being is utterly responsible for themselves. There are no excuses. If you do something cruel or dishonest or whatever, it's no excuse, even if you could make a story of it, that you do it because somebody told you to, or you were put in a position where you had to. Ultimately, it's always your responsibility. That's called karma. Karma, it means what you do, and what you do depends for Buddhism, as it does on the whole in our law, on what you intend.
Well, I'm a Buddhist monk, and I've been here. I founded this place. I came here at the end of 1985. I entered monkhood in Thailand in 1971 as a novice, 72, May 72, as a bhikkhu. Fully ordained Buddhist monks known as bhikkhus. And I came back to England in 1977 when Ajahn Chah, my teacher, was invited to London. So I came with him on what we thought, what was supposed to have been a 2-month visit. But after about, I don't know, a week or two, he decided that I and another monk should stay. He would have to go back, but he wanted us to stay. Well, I mean, going to Thailand, it was a very different world that I entered from the one I'd known. Because obviously you have many different things to get used to, like language and climate and customs and just being a monk. So that was all, well, I managed all right. And then coming back to England was another experience because, of course, back in those days, in 1977, Buddhism was not very well known here. Well, the practice of Buddhism, it's laid down very clearly in Buddhist texts, and it's about developing one's morality and developing one's mind, concentration, quietening one's mind, being able thereby to observe and see the nature of things. Yes, but it's about cleansing one's mind. So if, and it would be, I think it's quite difficult to make these assessments personally, but and there are undoubtedly people around who think they've attained who have not, who believe themselves to be some kind of enlightened person, and they plainly are not. Oh, well, there's quite a strict discipline about living here. It's not a sort of entertainment place. We expect people who come here, who come to stay, to practice Buddhism and to practice Buddhist meditation. This temple is actually the branch of Ajahn Chah's temple, Wat Pah Pong, Wat Nong Pah Pong, in northeast Thailand. So this is an official branch. And that means that we follow the traditions of Wat Pah Pong and the forest monasteries of northeast Thailand. And the forest monasteries of Thailand, particularly those of the northeast within the Ajahn Mun, Ajahn Chah tradition, are committed to a practice of meditation. They're not study places. The emphasis is on the practice and on cultivating meditation.
And there's a very widespread misunderstanding about Buddhism, and that is the Buddhists have something which you can call the teaching of no soul. They don't believe, as say Christians do, that there's some kind of essence in you which never changes. Buddhists believe that we're changing all the time. As I talk, I'm changing because I'm being able to produce fresh ideas. You're changing because you're listening to fresh ideas and so on. So change is going on. And everything is a kind of process. So Buddhists believe very strongly that I go on existing through time, but there's no actual essence of yourself, which is called, you have to think about in order to understand this. There's no soul that goes to heaven or anything like that. It's just you all the time. You have a biography, and the difference is only that your biography goes on through many, many lives. But you don't have an unchanging essence. There's no sort of like ghost in my machine.
Well, Buddha Batipat Temple is located in a very nice area. It is very easy for the people to come and visit. It's like the center of education, meditation, and Thai culture. And we are in Wimbledon. Outside in the town is very busy, but when you walk inside the temple ground, you can feel peace immediately. So I quite like the serenity of this place. And we have a beautiful temple, we have a beautiful area. Buddhism originated in India, and after the Buddha became enlightened, and then it was spread to different parts of the world. After India, Buddhism grew in Sri Lanka during the 13th to 15th century. Sri Lanka was like the stronghold of Buddhism, not only in Sri Lanka, because another form of Buddhism was spread to the north of India. And basically, there are two major schools in Buddhism, the Southern School and the Northern School. The Southern School known as Theravada Buddhism, whereas the Northern School is known as Mahayana Buddhism. We are not different in terms of the teachings, but what makes us different is the practice of monastic codes, like the color of robe, some minor rules, for example, eating after 12 or eating dinner. In our tradition, in Theravada traditions, the monks do not eat dinner. In Mahayana tradition, some monks may eat dinner, but they don't eat meat. We do eat meat because we rely on the support from other people. Well, if you talk about Thai Buddhists, because there are Buddhists by birth, they learn about Buddhist teaching or the Buddhist lifestyle since they were very young. But for Westerner, Buddhism seemed new to them. It's like a new culture. So to me, for Western people who are interested in Buddhism, they just come to attend the services, they just get involved in temple's activities, that just to get themselves familiar first. Or they may, as I say, there are many of them who have a very good knowledge because they learn from the books, even from the course at the university, and later on they would like to explore the Buddhist life. So I just said, okay, come to the temple, attend the classes or attend the services. Whenever the temple have the festival, you can come as a volunteer, just to get yourself familiar with the people and with the temple. Yeah, as I said, we welcome everyone. There is no restriction. Yeah, there is no restriction about religion or ethnic groups. We welcome everyone. And if you're interested, you are welcome. You may begin, and for those who are interested in Buddhism, they may begin with reading different sources, just to cultivate information background. Well, to me, as long as we apply the middle eightfold part, which consists of right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, you will eventually reach nirvana or the enlightenment anyway. It depends how hard you work or how much effort you put into your practice. If you work harder, it's like if you walk from the temple to the Vimana station. If you walk slow, it may take about one hour, and if you walk fast, it takes only 20 minutes. It depends on your own effort. First, we need to train ourselves. At the same time, we can share our wisdom and techniques with other fellow Buddhists or fellow human beings.
Well, the message is that it's you who are responsible. You decide whether you're going to do good or not, whether you're going to act with intelligence and sympathy and calm, or whether you are not. It's up to you in the end to decide, and it's much more difficult for some people than for others.